In something that I find absolutely extraordinary, it looks like Dragon Age the Veilguard had even worse sales than originally reported. And we've got an insider's report to set the record straight. Let's talk about it on That Game Plays. Hi, friends, it's me, CC, here with the one and only Mornings of Mischief, Loki. How you doing, Loki?
Pretty good, pretty good. Keep them warm. I mean, we're just like they're burning it down for us. We don't even have to worry about it. It's to the point we don't have to say anything. They're just doing our jobs for us.
That's true. And you know what? We're not having to chop any firewood either, to be fair. So keep it nice and warm this winter, courtesy of all these burning game studios. But this is just one of many stories we've got for you this week that are just nuts. So let's jump on into this one, Loki, and talk a little bit about a Veilguard. That's right. Dragon Age, the Veilguard sales are far lower than reported. This is according to an insider setting the record straight. So another BioWare whistleblowers come forward to correct and clarify some of the information previously reported on the internal strife at the EA-owned developer and Dragon Age the Veilguard sales numbers. An insider spoke anonymously to YouTube content creator Smash JT, who has an excellent track record, by the way, addressing some of the points he made in a recent video on his channel. Now, have you actually seen this video, Loki?
No, I haven't, not yet.
Yeah, but you consider Smash to be a pretty reputable guy, right?
Oh yeah. We hear about sources all the time, but he seems to have pretty much nailed down those sources to who's giving him good information, who's not. He tracks. He does.
He absolutely does. So in that video, JT's initial source told him that the Dragon Age, the Veilguard sales were better than anybody thought, with 3 million copies sold. However, that's apparently not the case. Your number of copies sold is wrong, the insider said. The number the whistleblower gives you is a projection with the tail, basically over the lifetime of the game with sales. It currently has less than 1.5 million sold, which is what I'd reported, and I think we talked about early on here, sold to consumers, not retail. So it's a major disaster for us at BioWare. Now, Loki, I think you were really on top of this, saying that it doesn't seem like with the player count they were anywhere close to that.
No, and we covered it right here on That Game Place. Make sure you guys tune in for stuff like that. Go back, look at the older videos. We talked about this. They did not have the sales numbers. When I heard 3 million, I was shocked. I was like, that still doesn't pull them out of the doghouse as far as cost goes, what they spent making this. But I was very surprised. This makes a lot more sense. Their player count has been abysmal. You do tracking on PlayStation, on Xbox through achievements. It's been abysmal on Steam. It's terrible. No one's playing this. No one wants to play it. I couldn't believe 3 million. This makes much more sense.
It does, because basically that 3 million sales number initially reported was an internal projection of what the title could make over its entire life cycle. That's a long time. I mean, a game life cycle, if you look at something like GTA 5, could be, 12, 15 years. In fact, people are still going back and playing all the older Fallout games and everything else. The life cycle of a game, though, should be able to count on a 5-year window. And they were thinking 3 million over 5 years. That's still kind of pitiful, especially since a lot of the time you're having to deep discount these games. And this game is one that's already experienced some of those, right, Loki?
Under $40 right now. You can go on Steam. I don't know about Xbox and I don't know about PlayStation right now, but you can go on Steam and get this game for under $40 right now. I think it's like 38 bucks and change. So the fact that this game just came out and it's already on discount, it's already on your sales, it has stayed through sales. It went through the Black Friday sale and they just kept it on sale. They want to sell this. It's almost as bad as that League game they were selling for $2.99. That Yellow Flash was given away to everybody for Black Friday.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. But yeah, so basically in reality, this game sold less than half of what they said it would do over its entire life cycle. So that is far more realistic to believe than what the company's initial launch goal was. Now, BioWare initially believed that it would sell north of 10 million copies of Vanguard. That's absurd. Smash JT reported the figure in his previous video, and his second source confirmed that this was the belief running through both BioWare and EA. Well, EA's been out of touch for a long time. BioWare, at least, was, hopefully still intact, but doesn't look like they are. So the projections of copies sold are correct, the whistleblower said. They were expecting around 10 million. EA is allergic to risks nowadays and wants big blockbusters. Well, then they should have put this game in competent hands. They didn't.
They've been drinking their own Kool-Aid culture. They've been drinking their own Kool-Aid over at EA and BioWare, and they have got to buckle down and go, look, this thing that we're doing, this color scheme, this gameplay, it's not working. We have to do something that the customer wants, not your reviewers over at IGN and Kotaku, but something the customers actually want. That's what's going to sell you games.
And that's 100% true. But look, there's already talk of layoffs. That's not a surprise. We saw that coming a mile away, too. And that's from the whistleblower saying there is indeed a lot of talk of layoffs. However, you can confirm with your sources, but most of the staff was reassigned to other projects within EA for the time being. I myself also have been asked to help another project, but not at BioWare. Most people are not on a Bowie at the moment. If your source says otherwise, then they are not telling you the truth. So that doesn't surprise me either. I mean, BioWare only has one thing they're working on right now, and that's the next Mass Effect game, which we'll actually have a video on, or already have a video on that'll be up there. But the whistleblower also confirmed that initially Veilguard was conceived and developed to be a co-op game. That makes a lot of sense. It would have moved forward some of the already existing mechanics from the previous games, right? You would have been able to have somebody play as a companion or vice versa, right, Loki?
Right. And considering what we've got up here, where they're talking about Anthem, it makes perfect sense. They were like, well, maybe we can make this some kind of online, always online multiplayer connectivity game. And then Anthem just was absolutely trash from start to finish. You would think they would have learned by now that these formulas are bad. Get back to giving the gamers what they want, giving them entertainment, giving them good stories. And it's always money, and never we're gonna give you solid good stuff that you could really want. This is what is killing all of these companies today, including Ubisoft and a lot of the other ones we talk about here. It's going to get to the point where they don't have anybody with experience because they can't afford to hire anybody with experience, because all they're going to have is a few dozen kids running around who don't know how to program, who don't know how to do anything. That's not going to make you good games. That's not going to sell 10 million copies.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, BioWare's last three major launches have been Dragon Age: The Veilguard, Mass Effect Andromeda, which was terrible, and Anthem, which basically gave us an excuse to target the only co-op style games, competitive co-op style games out there that would be successful. We're going to be these free-to-play things like Fortnite and other similar game structures. You're not really going to be able to find good co-ops outside of maybe some of the military fighters. But I mean, there's really limited need for those things. If you're going to buy a game like this, especially something like, Dragon Age, or you're going to buy something like Mass Effect, you are really going to want to do that as a solo person. You may want to use your companions as your co-op player, and that often works, but having a co-op situation, that was never a good direction to head down, or path to head down in the first place. Taking something far away from its origin is always a difficult and risky choice. And I think the gaming industry needs to figure that out sooner rather than later. But really, the bigger problem, I think, Loki, is that Veilguard failed because it injected identity politics and ideology into a game in such a ham-fisted way that the dialogue was a turnoff, and any of the cutscenes were just laborious and downright offensive to some people. What do you think?
No one wants to be lectured to. Gamers don't want to be lectured to. You might get points from IGN and Kotaku for that, but you're not going to get points from us. Nobody wants to sit through that. No one wants to sit through a lecture. No one wants to feel like they're back in school going, you can't do that. And when you handcuff players and you sit there and lecture to them, guess what they do? They tune out and they don't play your game, or they turn around and they get rid of it, or they just don't pick up your product anymore. Guess what? BioWare is not the same company that BioWare was when they made the Mass Effect games. Heck, BioWare wasn't the same company when they made Mass Effect 3. It was a different company then. You can only imagine what it's like now. So as long as you guys want to sit there and be like this and run your mouths and act like we're doing y'all a favor by doing all of this dibs stuff. No, we already have belonging. We're gamers. We belong in gaming. That's what we do. We love playing games, but we love playing good games. And you can't just go, oh, well, we've already got this audience. We'll just keep you around. We can get all these other people if we pander to them. It doesn't work that way. We will check out. We will say deuce. We will go the way of the dodo and go, you know what? We just won't buy your stuff. And that means you aren't selling any games.
And that's the other problem, right? Look, at this point, Marvin says in the article that we were just reading that basically BioWare's one last shot. It's with this last Mass Effect game, Mass Effect, I guess 5 at this point. And to be fair, Loki, I agree with him. I don't think that there's any other chance for them than to succeed with this game, because if they don't, they're just another studio that, well, will be torn down and burned up.
It all depends on how bad it is. If it is absolutely horrible, no one's going to want to play it. It'll be like the Andromeda all over again. Can you get away with one or two little things here and there? Yeah, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth did it. They had one absolutely annoying NPC and quest line that had to be the key to everything about this one aspect of the game, and knew everything. And honestly, it was a complete Mary Sue. I was born to ride chocobos and whisper. I'm the chocobo whisperer, but I won't do it myself because I'm the best at everything. And just getting through that was the worst experience in that game. Everything else I was cool with. It was really good, except for that one quest. You give us something like that, people will push through it. The people will power through it to get to the good stuff. You give us a whole game of that, no one's buying your game. No one's playing it because they don't want to put up with it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. So I guess we got to ask the audience, what do you think? Do you think that EA is on their way to having a bunch of layoffs related to BioWare? Do you think they're just on their way to have a bunch of layoffs? I mean, EA is not exactly doing great overall. Other than a few sports games, I can't imagine titles that will push forward under the current leadership that they have there. Or do you think that the Veilguard sales should be an indicator to every other studio that they need to stop in their tracks and reevaluate the direction that they're taking their properties? Let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Let's have a conversation down there. And as we always say, get your game on.